Welcome to Football with Cheese. Happy Saturday, everyone. So I wasn't going to make a video today, but I don't have a lot going on. Just really chilling, waiting around for the Super Bowl tomorrow night. And I had some friends text me asking me about NFL awards, certain ones. Do you think the right person won? So I thought, let's just go through it, and I'll give you my reaction to it. Some of the awards got it right, and some I think got it horribly wrong. And some of the awards are just stupid anyway. But first, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for notification so you never miss one of my videos. Me and Mike on the Lights Out podcast that we do every Tuesday night. It's at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. We're going to do reaction about 20-30 minutes after the Super Bowl. So make sure, like I said, subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified. We'll break the game down. We'll talk about the key turning points. We thought she was an MVP. Did they get it right? We'll answer questions in the chat as well. So link in the description. Make sure you check it out. I'm also going to link my prediction video that I did yesterday. If you have not checked out in this box here at the end. Basically, I re-show a clip of me and Mike doing our Super Bowl special. And I break down why I think the Seahawks will win. I add a little more to it as well, so make sure you check it out. And I'm going to link a Sam Darnold video in the description down below. Just pretty credible story to going from top 3 draft bust, bouncing around a bunch of teams, and now he's in the Super Bowl on the team that is favored. All right, so let's get into it. We'll start with MVP. Matthew Stafford, Drake May, Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, and Trevor Lawrence were the finalists. Matt Stafford won 366 to 361. He got 24 first place votes to Drake May's 23. Very close race. There's a lot of people pissed off that Josh Allen got 2 first place votes and Justin Herbert got 1. I have no problem with that. Both of them don't have a lot of help. Justin Herbert has no offensive line. If you watch this channel, you know I'm a big fan of Justin Herbert, and he gets unfairly criticized by the media. Same thing with Josh Allen. So I have no problem with that. And I would have had Stafford 1 on my ballot, and I would have had Drake May 2. Offensive Player of the Year. One of the finalists was Drake May. Personally, they should just do MVP should be a quarterback because it impacts the game so much. And Offensive Player of the Year should just be tight ends, wide receivers, or running backs. That's what I think. So Jackson Smith-Njigba won. Second place, Christian McCaffrey. Why? Why was he even a finalist? Puka Nacua 3rd. Bijan Robinson, Drake May 5th. Okay. So I would have voted for Puka Nacua, but I have no problem with Jackson Smith-Njigba winning. The thing is, Puka Nacua had more yards per game, 10 more receptions. They had the same amount of touchdowns. And Puka Nacua also had more yards after catch, more than 100. So I just think he was a little bit better than Jackson Smith-Njigba. But I have no problem with it. Both had amazing seasons. Both are top 5 receivers in the game. Here's the thing with Christian McCaffrey. He averaged 3.9 yards a carry. Yes, he had 102 receptions, over 900 yards. A lot of them were checkdowns. He's a great route runner. Don't get me wrong. Some of them, he ran unbelievable routes. He's one of the best receiving backs in NFL history, okay? But his rushing was not very good this year. He looked slower, hitting the hole. 3.9 yards a carry. Devon Achane averaged 5.7. He should have been a finalist behind that terrible offensive line in Miami. Derrick Henry, 5.2 yards a carry. Had a lot more rushing yards. James Cook, 5.2 yards a carry, led the league in rushing. And they're not finalists, but Christian McCaffrey is because he got a bunch of catches. He's a running back. I can't believe he even got second over Puka Nacua. Absolutely ridiculous. More on McCaffrey later. It's crazy. Defensive Player of the Year. Myles Garrett won unanimously. He should have won. I would have voted for him. But here's where I have a problem. Micah Parsons finished 5th. He should have finished 2nd. Maybe because he didn't play the last 5 games after getting injured. But Micah Parsons led the league in pressure rate. He led the league in double and triple teams. He impacted the game as much as anyone not named Myles Garrett. You could argue maybe even more, just didn't get the sack totals. So I think it's crazy that Will Anderson, who actually had fewer sacks than Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons missed 5 games, was 2nd, Nick Benito 3rd, Aiden Hutchinson 4th. No offense to Aiden Hutchinson, Nick Benito, but you did not impact the game even close to what Micah Parsons did. But Myles Garrett won, so it really doesn't matter who got 2nd, I guess. What a season for Myles Garrett. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Tedder McMillan, wide receiver Panthers. Yeah, I would have voted for him as well. Once again, I have a problem with the order of 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Tyler Shough, Travion Henderson, Jackson Dart, Emeka Egbuka. Emeka Egbuka was by far the favorite the first 8 or 9 games. and finishes 5th, it's almost like they forgot what happened in the first half. Yes, he didn't do as well. Tampa kind of collapsed. That's not really all his fault. He and Baker Mayfield somehow just weren't on the same page, and Chris Godwin and Mike Evans came back, so he didn't get as many targets, but he was tremendous in the first half of the season. He would have been number 2 on my ballot. And I got to be honest with you, my number 3 on my ballot probably would have been Tyler Warren, tight end Colts, and then Colson Lovin, tight end Bears. There's like an anti-tight end bias or something. Tyler Warren, just like Emeka Egbuka, had an amazing first half, and his quarterback got hurt. And Colson Lovin really came on for the Bears, and I probably would have voted Tyler Shough 5th. He finished 2nd. So just a little surprise there with the order. Defensive Rookie of the Year. This is pretty much my order. Carson Schlesinger, Browns, 1. He should have. Nick Emenwari was 2nd. I would have voted for him 2nd. I like that Xavier Watts was a finalist, considering he was a 3rd-round pick. Usually there's like bias toward 1st-round picks, and he had a really good rookie year. Comeback Player of the Year. Okay, I hate this award because there's no real definition of what a comeback player of the year is. Sometimes it's somebody who comes back from injury. Sometimes it's someone who comes out of retirement. Damar Hamlin, was it last year or the year before? He almost died. Comes back and ends up playing again and doesn't win the award. Joe Flacco wins instead. Absolutely ridiculous. So I don't know what comeback player of the year means, but when your heart stops and you almost die and then you come back and you're a starter the next year, you need to win the award. And this year, Christian McCaffrey wins, and he wins going away. 31 of the 50 first-place votes. Aiden Hutchinson has 9. Aiden Hutchinson had a compound fracture. His leg pretty much snapped in half around his shin area. Both those bones snapped. Like his leg was just dangling. Comes back and plays the whole season. Didn't have a typical Aiden Hutchinson season. I think he will be better next year. Coming back from that, though, he was a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. He should have won unanimously. Christian McCaffrey, okay, he played 4 games last year because of injury. Played all 17 this year. So what? He averaged 3.9 yards a carry. What is this Christian McCaffrey bias around the NFL? And the fact that Stephon Diggs was a finalist is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not even going to get into that. Trevor Lawrence was a finalist? Why? Because he sucked last year and he wasn't terrible this year? That's a dumb award. That's my least favorite award. My second least favorite award is Coach of the Year, just because it's basically not who coached the best, it's the most improved team award. Whatever team improves the most, that's what coach gets it. Now, I have no problem with Mike Vrabel winning it because he's a great coach. I would have voted for Mike McDonald and had Vrabel 2nd, Liam Cohen 3rd. The results were Vrabel 1st, Cohen 2nd, McDonald 3rd. I do like that Kyle Shanahan got 6 first-place votes. He did a tremendous job with that team. All their injuries, basically, they were starting practice squad guys at some spots on that defense, won 12 games. So he should have been higher. Ben Johnson 4th. Yeah, once again, he did a great job with the Bears. Really helped that Green Bay collapsed, Detroit and Minnesota had down seasons. I tell you what, you know who should have been a finalist? Mike McDaniel won 7 games with the Dolphins. Probably the worst roster in the NFL. Kellen Moore won 6 games with a rookie quarterback and probably the 2nd worst roster in the NFL. They should have been finalists, but it's not who did the best with what they got. It's who improved the most. But I do like that Kyle Shanahan got 6 first-place votes. Assistant Coach of the Year, Josh McDaniels, Patriots offensive coordinator, won. Totally get it. Their offense was really good. The finalists, Vic Fangio, Brian Flores, Vance Joseph, all defense coordinators, and then Clint Kubiak and Josh McDaniels, offense coordinators. Here's the thing. The person I would have voted for wasn't even nominated, and that's Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator of the Chargers. He did so much with a defense I would say has below average talent, average at best. And the last 2 years, they just overachieved in my opinion. And now he's the head coach of the Ravens. So I would have voted for Jesse Minter, probably Clint Kubiak 2nd, maybe Josh McDaniels 3rd. But I have no problem with that. Walter Payton, Man of the Year, Bobby Wagner, Washington Commanders. I love that. I've read about him for years doing a lot of charity work. Usually it goes to someone who's been around the league for a while, might retire, and he's never won it. That's typically who gets it, so I have absolutely no problem. I would have voted for Jordan Love. Of course I would have. Demario Douglas is another player that maybe could have won it. He's a veteran that toward the end of his career, I've read a lot of good things about him. Protector of the Year. Okay, this is a fairly new award where offensive lineman's never going to win Offensive Player of the Year, so let's give them their award. But here's why I have a problem with it. Joe Thuney, guard Bears. He had a tremendous season. You can argue this was his best year of his career, and he's been tremendous for the Chiefs and Patriots for many years. But it can't go to a guard or center. In fact, 3 of the nominees, Creed Humphrey, Quinn Miners, Joe Thuney, weren't offensive tackles. It has to go to an offensive tackle, especially a left tackle, in my opinion, because those guys literally protect the blind side of the quarterback. So I would have voted for Garrett Bowles. I think he's the best pass-blocking offensive tackle in the NFL. But Joe Thuney, I get why they voted for him, but it should have gone to Garrett Bowles, in my opinion. And I have a couple videos coming out next week. I'll release one Monday, one Tuesday. It's the best player at every position. Might be a little controversial. I just went through the eye test and then I looked at analytics and made a few changes, but not many. But basically, what I saw on the field is the best player is what I went with. So look forward to those videos. I'm going to do offense on Monday, defense on Tuesday, and Garrett Bowles is definitely on that list. Spoiler. All right, FedEx Air and Ground Player of the Year. Well, Air and Ground plus receiver, I guess. Goes to Drake May. I get it. Probably would have voted for Stafford, but Stafford won the MVP, so I have no problem with Drake May winning it. Christian McCaffrey again. Ground Player of the Year. That's running. It has nothing to do with receiving. That's running the ball. Not James Cook, not Devon Achane, not Derrick Henry. Christian McCaffrey yet again. It's almost like he's at the end of his career, and let's just give him all the awards while we still can. He should not have even been a consideration. Bijan Robinson could have been ahead of him. Jonathan Taylor. There's 10 running backs. Kyron Williams. Josh Jacobs should have gotten it more than him because Ground Player of the Year should be just running the ball. Absolutely ridiculous. Jackson Smith-Njigba wins for receiver. Once again, I would have voted for Puka, but I have no problem with that. Salute to Service Award. Okay, it goes to somebody who does a lot of work for militaries and their families. Guess who wins? Christian McCaffrey. I'm not going to knock him for winning this. The finalists were Aaron Jones and Jake Ferguson as well. I would have voted for Aaron Jones, but that's just me. Sportsmanship Award, Buda Baker, Arizona Cardinals. Love that. Once again, it's going to go to a veteran who's probably toward the end of his career, so Buda Baker winning. I would have voted for Jordan Love. Of course I would have. And finally, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The people that got in, Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly. Absolutely. Luke Kuechly is probably the best linebacker I've ever seen. Yes, better than Ray Lewis, a lot better than the overrated Brian Urlacher. He was that good. So happy he got in. Adam Vinatieri, kicker. I mean, kickers aren't football players, but if you're going to let a kicker in, I guess he should, but I wouldn't have voted for any specialist. Roger Craig, absolutely. He's the senior guy that gets in. When I was a little kid, he was one of my first football cards, and he was just really, really good. So I'm happy he got in. Some other people I think should have gotten in. Willie Anderson, offensive tackle. Bengals still has not gotten in. Jari Evans, guard. He was so good for the Saints. He should be in. Frank Gore, he just played a long time. I never thought he was one of the best at his position. He was just a very good player for a long time. I wouldn't vote for him. Torrey Holt and Reggie Wayne, they're going to have trouble getting in because they were their number 2 receiver on their team for the Colts and the Rams. So I think they'll eventually get in, but it might have to be like later on, like as a senior member. And Eli Manning, he'll get in. He'll have to wait. Mainly because he didn't have the regular season success. A lot of quarterbacks did, but he did have the postseason success, so I think he'll get in. And Marshall Yanda, oh yeah, he was a very good guard. I would vote for him as well. All right, so let me know in the comments. What award do you agree the most with, and which one do you disagree with? Mine, of course, is Comeback Player of the Year. It should have been Aiden Hutchinson of the Lions. Christian McCaffrey, absolutely ridiculous that he won all these awards. He's not a great running back anymore. He's a great receiving back, but he's not a great running back anymore. It's crazy. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. Once again, Lights Out Podcast is every Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Link in the description. And also, we're going to go live about 20-30 minutes after the Super Bowl to recap it and answer your questions. So make sure you come out for that. Share this with anyone who loves football. I'll cover all 32 teams on this channel. Once again, check out this video about my Super Bowl prediction, and I'll see you in the next one.